folks, it's Sven Jungbeck again, and today I want to show you some effective ways of playing jazz rhythm guitar. And these are concepts that you can use as starting points to progress in each approach of doing that. So the first thing would playing rhythm guitar just with your thumb, and therefore I recommend playing quarter notes and using your thumb, and it will give a very good basis to all of what's happening above these solid ground. So, and I will play the chord changes of all of me, and the first thing that I will do is using the free note voicings, and these are very good when you play quarter notes. They are not typical for gypsy jazz, but for other jazz styles. And what I mean by free note voicings is voicings using the lower four strings. For example, you want to play C major 7, you would probably start with C, A, and E, while the A string is muted. So in all of me, the next chord would be E dominant 7. So it's easy, we can just switch from this C major 7 chord to E dominant 7 with natural B in the bass. Natural B, A string is muted, G sharp, and D, which would be the third and the seventh. You could also use the E, the A string in the bass. This is the principle of it. Then a major chord looks basically like that. A dominant chord looks basically like that. When the root is on the A string, you can choose whether the root is on the A string or you play the fifth in the bass. You can play the dominant chord from the E string. That would be the next one, A dominant 7 in that case of all of me. When you play a minor chord, it looks like this. And this is a very good chord as well, because it could be a minor chord, it could be D minor, but it could be F major with A in the bass too. When you dig in this topic, you will see that there are a lot of great voicings that you can use, and just practice that topic. Search for it in your books. This is a concept of jazz chords that is taught pretty often. So, and it will sound like that: 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the first way of playing quarter notes. And you can do the same thing with the pick. And when I use the pick, what I like to do, especially with that comping, you can of course do exactly the same. Just sounds a bit louder and harder, you know, that's a matter of taste. But what's very good with the pick, better than with the thumb, is when you do the upstroke as well. You can do that with your thumb too, but I think it sounds better with the pick. The next thing, and this is also a very great technique, and now we come to a technique where you really should take a closer look. This is the muting technique. It will sound like that. What I'm doing here is my wrist is muting the strings while I'm doing that shuffle, and the shuffle sounds completely different when playing it only with muting with the left hand. It will be that sound. But when you're doing it while muting with the right hand, the wrist comes down to a flat picking position. It's still moving. It's not that it's lying there all the time. It's more like a... Before playing 2 and 4, I kind of raise it for a very short moment. But at the moment I'm playing the dead note, I'm instantly muting with my right hand. This is a technique that also is very popular in pop music when playing. Ed Sheeran plays that a lot. And it's also very good for jazz music. So I recommend practicing that, because it takes a little while until you get this timing of the right hand right to do it. Like, you can practice it with open strings to control yourself. Should sound like that. And when you know more about chords, you can even do some I will soon upload a video concerning that topic. You can do something like a walking bass with chords, you know, like walking around with all the chord inversions. And then it sounds really cool. You can do something like... what was that? Sorry. Like... so on. That's very cool, I think. So the next thing that I want to discuss is when you play, it's still quarter notes, and you can play, of course, the gypsy jazz, the pompe manouche, which is a very effective way. And I think even if you're not into gypsy jazz, you should learn that, because Django was maybe the first famous guitarist, absolutely the biggest influence for most of the players, even for the rock players of the 60s and stuff. Everybody knew Django Reinhardt and still does. He's such an inspiration. And what he played was a very groovy swing. And this swing that Django Reinhardt played is the ultimate swing to my mind on the guitar. And this is played like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That cover all 6 strings make it sound very bassy and very fat. Actually, when you do that, you got to learn a technique that's pretty uncommon in contemporary jazz music, and also in classical music it's not common. And some players do it. Tommy Emmanuel, for example, does it. It's placing the strings, one finger between 2 strings, and without playing a bar chord, you will be able to play 2 notes at the same time. And a lot of gypsy jazz voicings do that. For example, if in contemporary jazz you would choose C major 7 voicing from the E string, in gypsy jazz you would play a C6-9 with a thumb and bass like this. My thumb is now playing C, the middle finger is playing G and C, then the first finger is playing E, and the ring finger is playing A and D. This is very, feels unnatural if you have never done it before, but it's worth the practice because it really sounds like old school jazz music should sound. And there are a lot of voicings. If you check out my other videos concerning proper chords too, there I'm talking about idiomatic gypsy jazz voicings. And in these videos you can learn a lot how to play old jazz standards if that is not your thing to do. So basically, to me, this is it concerning quarter notes. This is the most fundamental basic stuff that you should know when it comes to play with strumming. So, but still there is one thing left. You can also play the quarter note accompaniment by picking the strings. Therefore, we use the thumb, index, middle, and ring finger. And I will do again one part A of All of Me as a demonstration. 1, 2, 3, 4. What was that? Basically like that. So, and when you play a tune like that, of course, in that technique, that will lead to a different way of playing, to the more Joe Pass-like way. And now we come to the kinds of accompaniment that are no longer in that quarter note strumming, but that are more sophisticated concerning the rhythmical aspect. But they are not better or worse, they are just, you know, different. So, because now the next thing that's very good to learn is walking bass. And walking bass, it's worth a whole video, at least one. It's a difficult topic. But I want to teach you one very simple trick how you can approach the sound of walking bass. So, without playing really walking bass, you can approach the sound by using the thumb to play the quarter notes. And then you have two options basically with the other three fingers. This is playing on beat or beside the beat. And this is a very important technique. I will demonstrate that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I did was, I was not really playing walking bass, but on the chord I was mixing stuff like playing 4 quarter notes with the thumb of C, and then playing little fill-ins with my right hand. 1 and 2, 3, 4, for example. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And then on 3, 4, what I did again was playing on the beat with my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you mute that kind of, and you mix muting and letting ring, it will sound already great. And so it's pretty easy actually. You just have the opportunity. The thumb is always playing quarter notes. You can, if the root of the chord is on the A string, it's very easy to do a little switch in the bass note by using the 5th on the E string. If it's other way around, you can use, of course, the 5th also on the A string, like this. Or when you play the 3rd, it's more difficult, but instead of just moving here, then you have to do something different. It's working perfect with the 5ths. And then by using just on the beat and off the beat, it's very easy. Try it. It's very good. So the next thing is, now we get more into this, like when you're playing jazz and you're playing with a band, and you probably not want to play quarter notes all the time. I still recommend a very easy pattern, and that will go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only doing 1 and 2 and short. Now what I can do is I can play the 1 long. Again short. Now I can do the 2 and long. And mix it all up. And now what you can also do is, now instead of just using 1 and 2 and, sometimes you can use 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course you can play that as well on 3 and 4 on every beat, but it's still very simple. The same effect will appear when you just move the pattern of a dotted quarter note and an 8th note somewhere else in the bar, like this. Now I just played it on one end. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, and I mixed it. First 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. And this is basically a very basic approach to play it. And when you mix that with, you know, for example, switching bass notes like what I did now was using the 12/8 feel. And I was playing it like this. Not all the time, of course, just one thing, and you know, try to not do it all the time, you know, just from time to time, every 4 bars you do something special, and then you can do like all of me, why not take all of me, can't you see I'm no good without you, take my lips, I want to lose them, take my arms, I never use them, like this. And it's also very effective, and you can do basically the same way with the pick, and that would be the next thing. And therefore you go back to the quarter note rhythm, but instead of playing all the quarter notes, you're taking the shuffle rhythm feel in your right hand and you play. As long as the rhythm is going on in your right hand, you can do a lot of good stuff without losing the rhythm. Because the most difficult thing is doing that with finger picking and trying to imitating the piano player. This should be the last thing on your list, because it's the most sophisticated concerning making your band members feel good while you are accompanying them. Because I think the most important thing when accompanying a soloist is the rhythm. So just think like you're playing still quarter notes, or maybe if you like, whatever, you know. I'm doing it with the Gypsy now, and then you just go away from that playing all the quarter notes and doing more fill-ins. I hope that gave you some advices how to possibly evolve in rhythm guitar, starting with the quarter notes and then expanding it. And then at the very end, you can try to use your fingers, you know, and experiment with voicings and stuff. But this should be the last thing, because it requires a very good inner ear for the rhythm. You can only do that when you're really master of the form. I think this is the basic difference between a hobby player and a professional player, is keeping the form all the time. You know, a hobby player, somehow when he plays solo, he plays something of scales and arpeggios to the music, while a professional player should be the music, and not only a professional player like Joe Pass or Pat Metheny or Birelli Lagraine. I'm talking about a regular, normal professional player. They usually can do that. That means playing solo, but not needing the accompaniment. I mean, when I play a solo on All of Me, I probably can do that without somebody who's playing with me, and you will still notice that this is All of Me. Like 1, 2, 3. So I'm basically with the form all the time, and what I need when I want somebody to play rhythm guitar for me, I feel more comfortable, of course, with the rhythm guitar, but it should not be disturbing, it should not be confusing, it should be very much to the point. And this is actually the most important thing while playing rhythm guitar. So I hope that helped you. Check out my other videos, and I hope you subscribe, and see you soon. Bye.